Emergency services.
314-7037.
Thanks, Telstra. Go ahead, caller. What address do you need the ambulance? Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, tell me exactly what's happened.
He's fallen from gymnastics onto a concrete floor.
Okay. Just to confirm, the line's not that great. The She's fallen from gymnastic rings onto a concrete floor. Is that correct?
Yes, he's bleeding from the head. Complaining of a sore head and sore neck.
Sure.
Keeping still.
That's all right. We're going to get him some help to stay nice and calm for me. How old is he?
He's,
So, no, needs to stay where he is. Can you? That's all right. I just need to tell him to stay nice and calm. So he's 34. Is he? And he's awake and is he breathing?
He's awake and breathing.
Good. Okay. What's caused the fall?
The wooden rings snapped.
The wooden ring snapped? Okay. Now, you said he's bleeding from the head. Is there any serious bleeding? Is it pouring out at all or gushing?
We are holding a towel against his head.
Yep, good. Okay, so is the bleeding pouring through the towel?
Is the bleeding pouring through the towel? We're checking now.
Is he completely alert?
They're coming. He's standing in pain.
I understand, and he's hurt his head and his neck. Is that correct? Was it?
His fingers are tingling.
So bleeding fingers?
Tingling.
Oh, tingling in his fingers. Okay, and is he still on the ground?
He's still on the ground, yes.
Okay, I've organised that help for him now. Okay, so just stay on the line and I'll tell you exactly what to do next. Do not splint any injuries and do not move him unless he's in danger. If he's hurt his neck and his head, we want him to stay nice and calm and exactly where he is. I understand he's in pain. Can you see blood pouring out of that towel or is it keeping it nice and controlled?
We're good at the moment. Yes, sir.
Just stay on the line with me, okay? Hold on one moment.
At the moment, how bad is the pain?
I don't know, it's still sore in my traps.
Out of 10, 10's the worst pain you've ever had. 0 being no pain.
7.
Ever since I met Damo, he's been a very active, out there kind of guy, always giving anything a shot, into all the extreme sort of sports. He used to love his skateboarding. We used to spend every weekend, every night after work or school, going out skating all these different spots. After our daughter was born, it was time to go home. We left the hospital at around 12 o'clock lunchtime, and then Damo wanted to enter a skateboard competition, so off we go with our newborn baby, not knowing what to do as young parents. Load her into the car and we went off to the other side of the city so he could skate, and then back to another skateboarding comp closer to home with a newborn baby. And we didn't get home till around 3 o'clock in the morning. That was her first experience leaving the hospital.
All my kids were very sporting activities. Damien raced BMX, was a Victorian champion. He also played basketball, was very, very good at basketball, team player. He was very, very good at ice hockey. He played in the net. He was able to do the splits sideways as well as frontwards. He was very quick, very agile. He was very reactive, which you have to be when you're in the goals because you can have 2, 3, 4 shots in succession. So you have to be able to move very quickly. Also, I'd have to take him to training, 5 o'clock Sunday morning. So he'd have to be prepared, ready, geared up to go at that time of the morning. He was committed to all of his sports. He's a good, loving boy. He's very, very outgoing. I love him very much. He has a wonderful personality. If you're a good person, then you've got a great friend in Damien.
I got into CrossFit in 2016. The same year I was actually competing in a Spartan Ultra Beast. Spartan Ultra Beast is a 42-kilometre run and a 90-plus obstacle race course.
Go Damo.
The guys I was working with up in Canberra at the time, they were the ones who suggested I give CrossFit a try because they thought that I'd be pretty good at it. At first I wasn't interested, but in the end I thought couldn't hurt to try something new, so I ended up going along and signing up. I was already 3 years into my bodybuilding isolation style workouts because I was a little bit overweight and ended up joining the gym to lose that weight. So I had basic knowledge on your big lifts, your bench press, your squats, your deadlifts, but I'd never done a CrossFit class. So I was excited to try something new. The CrossFit box I joined up at is where I met CrossFit Games athlete and head coach Sasha alongside Dave. I trained there for about 4 months until the work trip ended up finishing up, and I ended up going back home to Melbourne and just continuing my normal bodybuilding style workouts with my wife Emma, as she was competing in bodybuilding comps, so I'd just train alongside her and push her and help her in any way I could. I found that personally pretty rewarding, helping her out like that. When another Canberra work opportunity came up, I thought the best way to utilise my time away from my family was to join CrossFit again. But this time I really wanted to see how far I could actually take it and push myself. So when I went back to Canberra, I joined up again, and this was the same year that I actually done my very first CrossFit Open. And once I'd done the CrossFit Open, that was it. I was completely hooked by the sport that is CrossFit. Alright guys, so this is the home gym. Got that squat rack there, some dumbbells over here, central chalk bucket, all types of barbells, whole lot of bumper plates. So you can have quite a few people in here at once working out. Got the old ski erg. Out here we've got the rig. So a few different size pull-up bars from small for the kids and bigger ones. Also got that handstand wall perspex. So this is where we keep all our machines. Everything from the rower, C2 bike, echo bike, bench, couple of strongman sandbags here. Although I had the home gym now, I ended up getting stuck up in Canberra because that was the same year that COVID hit.
The sheer numbers of people succumbing to the coronavirus is overwhelming.
The coronavirus crisis.
Now to growing concerns about the deadly coronavirus.
It's just the third shutdown in Disneyland history.
I was stuck in the state away from Emma and the kids. The borders got shut.
Victoria's border to New South Wales has been slammed shut indefinitely.
Victoria will strengthen its border restrictions at midnight, locking out all of New South Wales and the ACT.
There was no way for me to get home and even see my family.
Damo was always such a kid. Always just such a boy. I've always admired Damien for stepping up, being such a young dad and stepping up and having 2 kids to look after, and he's always worked so hard to provide for them. and Emma, and that's really an admirable trait.
The last 4 or 5 years, Damo had been working interstate up in Canberra, not fly in, fly out or anything like that. It was just sort of he could come home on when he could get a weekend off, or we would try and get up there to see him. But the last year before his accident, it made it a lot harder due to COVID-19, being in lockdown and the borders being closed, being in Victoria. It was really strict. We couldn't get up to see him, so there was quite a long period of time where we didn't get to see each other. He didn't get to see the kids. He was doing it pretty tough up there.
Eventually, when the restrictions eased a little, I was able to come home.
He finally got a permit to travel down for our daughter's birthday in October.
Once I got home, everything was going good. I was having a great time on my holiday. Everything felt perfect.
Great to see him. We had lots of catching up. We were still in lockdown down here, so we couldn't really go out and do anything, but it was just great to have him home. We celebrated Ashley's birthday, and then everything changed on the 24th of October.
The day started just like any other normal day. I had a nice little workout planned. I had some ring accessories on that day before my WOD, which had the ring muscle ups in it. So we set up the rings and got into it. Nothing seemed off or out of the ordinary. Warm up felt great, body felt great, everything was normal. The conditioning piece I had on that day was 3 4-minute AMRAPs. I was going really good throughout the workout.
Me and Ashley were out there cheering him on and keeping count for him and all that sort of thing.
It wasn't until I got to the ring muscle ups then I guess that all changed.
He didn't even get one of the ring muscle ups in. He went to go to his first one, so he started kipping, and then as he'd come up to get on top of the rings exploded into pieces and Damo came falling down with great force onto his head and neck.
I didn't have time to react, didn't even have time to put my hands out to try and protect myself.
You can still see it replaying over and over in your head. It was pretty full on. So he's hit the ground, me and Ashley, it felt like slow motion running to get to him.
Felt like I lost full control of my body. I still had a piece of the gym ring in my right hand that Emma had to pry open for me to be able to actually let go of it. It was just stuck in there, I couldn't let go. My head was bleeding, my whole body was tingling, and my traps were just in a shrug, and I just couldn't control it. I was just yelling, call an ambulance, call an ambulance. Emma had a towel on my head to try and stop the bleeding whilst holding me completely still. It was unfortunate that Emma and my daughter witnessed it happen about 2 meters from them, but also super lucky because 9 times out of 10 I'm doing these workouts with nobody else around.
So Ashley called 000, all frantically. I was there holding his neck straight so he wouldn't move. He was also bleeding from his head, so I had to yell at Ashley to go grab a towel. It was really chaotic. Declan thought it was all a lot of made up drama going on outside. We grabbed the towel, we spoke to the dispatcher, explaining the situation. I knew it was pretty bad when Damo said that his arms and legs were really tingling, and trying to hold it all together while he would
Once I was on the stretcher, I remember telling Emma that I was really sorry and that I'm really scared. I think she was the brave one holding it all together that day.
So I got to the Alfred hospital and he'd been taken in, and they just told me that I couldn't come in and see him due to the COVID-19 restrictions, and to go home and they'll let me know any news.
I think that was one of the hardest things to deal with, being admitted to the Alfred Hospital Trauma Unit and no one you love or know is able to be by your side to support you. It was really hard doing it by myself, going through that.
So I couldn't go home and leave him in there with no one around, so I parked the car out the front and sat in there and just waited by my phone, kind of thinking in the back of my mind, oh, it's Damo, nothing ever bad happens to Damo. I did ask again if I could see him. They were going to try and organise to see him due to the severity of the break and the dislocation, that he may not make it through the surgery, or if he was to make it through the surgery that he would come out, maybe best case scenario, quadriplegic.
Going in for life-saving emergency surgery and not having a family member there to support you, it was damn hard. I didn't even know if I was even going to make it out and get to see my family, so in my eyes it was the last possible chance for me to actually see Emma or the kids or anyone I loved.
Then the next minute, in true Damo form, thinking of others even in the worst time of his life, I get a phone call from his boss, Damo, laying there just before surgery, and he's still thinking of others. Called his boss to let him know that he won't be back up in Canberra for work on Monday because he's just broken his neck. And so his boss is asking me if it's real, because I think he thought Damo was having a joke because he's a bit of a joker.
They even intubated me while I was awake through my nose to put me to sleep for the operation. So that was the only way, due to the injury, that they could put me to sleep. The surgeons had to open me up at the front of the neck to be able to put the plate and hardware in the front, and then they also opened me up at the back of the neck to put hardware in there as well, and ended up taking a bone graft from my right hip so they could fuse the neck together as well.
And then I got the phone call that they just finished the surgery around 6:30 a.m. They said from a surgical point of view it was looking okay, and they wouldn't be able to tell further outcomes until he was awake and they could do some more tests. They were very strict. They'd make you sign in. It was one visitor per patient per day for 1 hour only. Yeah, so it was pretty confronting the first morning, going up after his surgery and seeing him laying there in a bed, drainage tubes, drips, collar, everything. He was so out of it still. He still couldn't move his arms properly. I'd try and get in there in the morning because Damo couldn't do anything for himself. He couldn't feed himself, wash, clean, do anything.
So you're going to be up and...
Hopefully going for a walk soon. Or I'm going to try and get up and go for a walk. I've still got a catheter in my penis. Oh, it's right.
Yeah, you still got it.
And some moon boot things on my feet.
Oh, I'm going to show them your feet. I can't really see them there.
Paid the physios, so I haven't heard back yet.
So it was quite some time of help assisting Damo to sit, and eventually we got him to stand with us. When he first came home, he couldn't really do anything by himself. We had to feed him, change him, shower him. He needed assistance going to the toilet. He couldn't even wipe his own butt. Everything. He had to relearn to walk, to even talk. Some of his voice was all funny. He couldn't talk for a long period of time. We said that they broke him really because you'd make him laugh and he couldn't laugh. It sounded hilarious. They're breaking you. But yeah, he had to really learn how to do everything again. All round, it took us a couple of hours to get Damo from out of bed into the shower, showered, dressed, his collar changed, teaching the body how to do everything again because the messages aren't getting through due to the damage on his spinal cord. So yeah, it's kind of hard to see.
Well, it is. It's just like your worst nightmare. It's that phone call that forever that you dread. And I'm a bit of an optimist. I always thought that he'll be fine, he'll be right. You know, when I think it really hit me, I know you'd said it was really serious and, you know, we all hoped for a good outcome. It really hit me when I saw that x-ray. Actually, how lucky he was, how close he was to being a quadriplegic. I don't think he wants our pity or anything, but I just feel really bad for him because he was always so active, skateboarding and bike riding. Remember when Declan got a little bike for Christmas or a holiday for something, and he went out and bought himself one because it looked like such fun. So I feel really sad for him that way, that he can't get out there and do all the active things that he used to do because he was really good at them.
So the OT sort of helped him with the day-to-day living, teaching him how to feed himself again, to shower, all these different things, to dress yourself. You've had to relearn, so it's like going back to being a baby, learning to walk, talk, feed yourself, care for yourself, all that sort of thing again. He wasn't even allowed to open doors, hold anything really.
Does it feel like you've run a marathon?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to lay down a minute.
Well, he's eating nuggets.
I had 2 nuggets.
And some chips.
You're doing good. Damo's first time coming back into the gym, or home gym garage, at his score.
Show me how they rush. This is really hard to see.
Hmm?
I don't know, it's really...
I haven't been out there since it happened.
It's really hard to look at for some reason. Oh, shit.
The start of Damo's recovery was quite difficult. There were some really dark, hard days where he would say he wished he'd died. He didn't want to be here anymore. He really, really was struggling.
I think the toughest part was having everything I loved doing taken away from me. I just felt completely lost and useless. I guess you could say I lost all hope and I couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Pain he was going through, he has never experienced anything like that before. He felt embarrassed. He was just in a really, really dark place. He would put on this big front to anyone that would come around. It was all happy. You know, he would never make anyone else feel how he's feeling. But unfortunately, myself and the kids, we would see the other side that no one else saw.
It was really hard to deal with what had happened to me. Going from being very active to nothing at all for months, it was difficult. And I'd say it ended up getting the better of me at times.
He just wasn't coping very well at all.
Funny you think things like this don't happen to you, but you know, in the blink of an eye, your whole life can be turned upside down. Seeing the surgeon today and hopefully be able to remove this, that's what we're hoping for. Hopefully the surgeon has some sort of good news for us today. So I've just come back from Alfred, and as you can see, we got the Aspen collar removed. We got this self collar put on, try and build up some neck strength again. I am allowed to do something in the gym now, some banded stuff, very minimal weights, but it's a start. I'm pretty happy about that. Oh, it's a PB. So, apparently my neck looks really funny. Oh, I am now buggered. Wait, can I do it?
Mm-hmm.
And I can play drums and slap the bass. Try and play guitar again.
Damo going for his first bench press. 10 kilo bar. Nervous? You're coming uneven again. Yay!
Gonna try and have my first shot playing drums again since the accident. This feels a bit weird. Normally I just flow. That's weird. Oh, okay, ready? Down. That's about it. And up. That's left and right again. It goes like that.
Try and turn to look at me.
Oh, no.
So it's going real jolty.
That's it. Oh.
Now it feels like you run a marathon.
Now I'm safe again. I'm ready to go. Got my cinnamon on. At the time of my accident, I had been working for a company for the past 14 years, so it was kind of lucky because I knew I had so much sick leave accrued that I could use while I was recovering. While I was on sick leave, the unthinkable happened. Just when you think things couldn't get any worse, I get a call from a fellow colleague, and he called me and said the company we work for has just gone into liquidation. So any benefits I just had disappeared. As I was the main income earner in our house, this put a lot of financial stress on us as a family, because I knew I was in quite a position now where I couldn't just go out, get a new job, because I just broke my neck and I was just physically unable to work. So it was stressful. When I got the green light to slowly do more and more, that's when a new challenging path awaited me.
Hopefully it'll turn around and he can get back into, if not that, can channel his energies in other ways. Lucky he's got his music and his video recording and all that kind of thing that he enjoys doing. And I hope that one day he's pain-free and
we're very grateful for the recovery that Damo has had. We were told that it would never be as good as he is right now. It's amazing. Even though the pain that he's constantly going to be going through each day, he's just thankful, and so am I and the whole family, that he's actually able to move around and walk. People with incomplete spinal cord injuries like Damo will often regain some function. However, making a full recovery is rare. To look at what Damo is achieving is mind-blowing. Looking at Damo, you would never know the trauma he carries.
I'm not a religious man by any means, but I think something was definitely watching over me that day. Not one spinal cord injury is the same, and I've even seen other people with less damage to their spine, and they are either wheelchair, bear-bound for the rest of their life, or worse yet, they didn't even make it. My doctors are shocked to see my outcome considering the damage that was done, so to be able to walk away with being able to finally walk and move all limbs is an extreme gift that I never did, nor never will take for granted. I was in a very bad way physically and mentally for quite some time, and I still am. But with the help of Emma, she showed me the way out. She's always been my rock, the one that didn't give up on me when I gave up on myself. This has been my biggest challenge I've ever had to face physically, mentally and emotionally, and I feel fortunate enough to be able to share my story to inspire other people, that they too can get through anything. I want to be able to show my kids that if you fall down, to always get back up and give your best no matter what. Everybody has their own version of rock bottom, and I definitely hit my rock bottom. Life is different now, every day is a continuous struggle. But in saying that, there is always someone worse off out there, which gives me the strength to show up and put in effort for myself each and every single day, just like I used to. We all go through rough patches in life. That's how we deal with them that counts.